There is nothing as changing as the desert. Nothing that changes with the same quiet appearance. The caravans always seem to move over the same dune. They seem to relax crossing some invented courses, courses traced by men who never existed. Still universes in a timeless landscape without limits. The senses deceive. In the desert, you never step on the same dune. The desert is made of men with a vision of the future, men of fire who fight against oblivion so as not to betray that future. For centuries, Agadez has been one of the largest ports in the universe of the Tuaregs, those mythical blue men of the desert. They lived there among the dunes and mountains of the Air Massif, but they regularly approached the city either to protect it or to attack it. The Azalai, one of the last big commercial salt routes, used to start off from Agadez, and still does. From November to January, hundreds, thousands of camels cross the way between Agadez and the mines of Bilma to further distribute the salt to the rest of the country. After 10 years of war between the rebel Tuaregs and the Niger government, the Azalai caravan travels peacefully again.
My name is Hassan El-Khayi. I am 10 years old and I am studying in Agadez, although I was born in Tinia, a village located in the mountains. And when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer.
My name is Ibrahim Ayu Aliman. I am a Tuareg born in Agadez. I'm studying at secondary school, and when I finish, I want to be a doctor.
Hassan and Ibrahim go to school together, although their parents fought on different sides during the war. The Hassan family fought very actively in favor of the rebels. His uncle, whom he lives with in Agadez, was a member of the guerrillas' secret services. On the other hand, Ibrahim's family is pro-government. They have lived in the city for many years and are in favor of keeping on good terms with the government. But these two families have something in common. Both have always been dedicated to the Azalai, the caravan of salt. Neither Hassan nor Ibrahim have ever accompanied their parents on the caravan. The war made the way dangerous, and therefore they did not dare to travel with them. But this year it will be different. This year, for the first time, the caravans will depart in peace, and children will leave school for a few weeks to start learning their parents' profession. Hassan wants to become a lawyer, and Ibrahim, a doctor. Their respective parents support them as they want their children to be able to enter a world that they have never known. But they also want them not to forget. Their parents want them to fight for the world that they belong to, a world in danger of extinction, in the face of the advancing modern world.
There is a big difference between Tuareg children who go or do not go to school. The Tuareg who have gone to school no longer have slaves and rarely act violently. The rebellion made access to school very difficult. Some parents were afraid of bringing their children to school, and others thought that we wanted to influence them against their traditions. These children you see here are the engineers and employees of the future, regardless whether they are Tuareg, Hausa or Peul people.
Si toutefois, c'est-à-dire les gens maintenant commencent à amener les enfants à l'école.
Classes are given in French and Tamashek, which is the language spoken by the Tuareg. We try to teach them a basis of general knowledge without forgetting those aspects of tradition that we consider essential. Anyway, either using this or any other learning procedure, there is always something more important than the teaching system: to live in peace.
C'est pas vite, comme avec une voiture, comme avec un avion. Voilà, Sidi. Ouais, on va. Lève-toi, oui, on va. On va à Bilma. Sur le dos de chameau. Donc, qu'est-ce qu'on cherche là-bas à Bilma? Qu'est-ce qu'on cherche? Bref. Hein? Donc, qu'est-ce qu'on appelle ce déplacement-là? Le déplacement des gens qui vont, par exemple, Agadez, Bilma est transporté de sel et transporté de dates. Qu'est-ce qu'on appelle ça?
La Caravan.
On appelle ça la Caravan.
The schooling of their children is one of the key factors to persuade the Tuareg people to abandon the nomadic life and to integrate themselves in the modern world. This type of school started at the time of the French colonization. The continuous exodus motivated by the severe drought suffered in 1973 and 1984, together with 10 years of war, have not allowed them to develop the educational system in a regular way. Little by little, parents finally understood that an education meant an advantage to find jobs apart from those of the nomadic breeding of animals, and that consequently it would also mean an open door to future prospects for their children in a time of crisis such as this. The 10-year struggle between the rebel Tuaregs and the Niger government is the consequence of the process of disintegration that the Tuareg people suffered during the second half of the 20th century. For a very long time, the Tamashek, which is what they call themselves, have dedicated themselves to attacking and protecting the caravans, as well as to collecting taxes for the right to cross their territory. The abolition of slavery in the years of the colony, the elimination of the payment of territorial crossing rights, and the arrival of currencies ruined the basis of the traditional economy, thus destroying the prestige of the nobility. In spite of all that, the Tamashek get on quite well with French people. When independence arrived, however, they began to suffer total discrimination at the hands of the new state that was born under the leadership of the Hausa groups in the south. Rioting broke out in 1991, demanding political autonomy and access to the modern production resources that existed within their territory. The Tamashek culture, as it is represented by the admirers of the exotic, no longer exists. Currently, a new and long struggle is taking place: how to accept the challenges of the future without disregarding the traditions.
We cannot continue to live in the Middle Ages. The era of feudalism has passed. There are improvements such as trucks, phone, or electric light that are basic for development. Things have changed, and we must adapt accordingly. We have no other choice. It is indeed nice, the image of the camel caravans walking along the dunes, but the trucks carry 7 times more load.
and 5 times faster. Caravans must continue to exist. There are thousands of families, my own among them, that depend on these animals, but it is necessary to find new alternatives. A few years ago, a law was established that regulated the transportation of salt, which could only be made by camels and not in trucks. Those are laws to protect the Azalai's permanence, but for how long could the caravan be protected if compared with the truck?